Service. King Road, I know there's been quite a few questions about King Road. I emailed you a memo this afternoon. I brought copies here this evening that I passed out before we started here. The cost that we have here for King Road is $543,175. Is option 1 that you see here in my letter dated today. And the proposed scope of work there with option 1 is to perform base stabilization, install 6-inch underdrain, put 3 inches of 19mm super pave binder, and 1.5 inches of 9.5 wearing surface. It's our opinion that this is probably the best way for the long-term repair, and at some point, maybe 7 to 10 years from now, or even longer, the maintenance would involve milling and resurfacing just the wearing surface, which would cost $160,000 and some odd change. So that's the option we'd like to see done. But I proceeded with preparing some additional options for King Road. The second option is just to go out there, do some base repairs, and do some paving. The condition of King Road is such that there's about 70% of the roadway that would require base repairs, and also do our underdrain, 3 inches of binder, 1.5 inches of wearing surface after we get our base repair. The estimated cost there is $632,375. Now that cost is greater than the base stabilization, but we have a very large amount dedicated to base repairs, which is $337,500. So the base repair with option 2 exceeds the base stabilization cost in phase 1. So to do base repair and paving is more costly than the base stabilization and paving. The third option that we have here is for overlaying the existing pavement with 5 inches of FB1 and 1.5 inches of 9.5mm wearing surface. Now, I remember many years ago when Frank's father was here working, they used a product called Blue Goose. And FB1 is similar to Blue Goose in some manners, but it's not a product that you can just put out there and leave by itself. You have to seal it off with either a seal coat or a wearing surface. So with this, we're proposing 5 inches of FB and 1.5 inches of wearing surface. The cost is $275,000. I'm not sure that it would last as long as the base stabilization and the hot mix of the 3 inches of binder and wearing surface, but there would be some future maintenance cost related to that, to go out there and either do a seal coat or another layer of wearing surface. The fourth option is to complete base repairs and install single seal coat on the road. As I said earlier here, we've got about 70% of that road that's in need of base repairs. So doing base repairs and applying a single seal coat and then some installation of underdrain would total $364,000. And then I gave us a value engineering there to minimum maintenance costs would be somewhere, 2 to 3 years. Another seal coat would cost you $33,562.24. Option 5 is a little bit heavier base repair. It's the same base repair, but a little bit heavier seal coat. We do the same base repairs in options 4 and apply a double layer of 2B stone and a single seal coat on top of that. Total cost there is $443,500. In discussing this with Bill, and it's a surface treatment as per the PennDOT specifications, and there's going to be a significant amount of emulsion installed with this process, and we run the risk of some bleed, a lot of bleeding, I think, and a fear that we have is that when we go out there and plow that road, this surface treatment may just get plowed up. I wanted to put it there as an option since it was suggested to investigate. The other option, the last option, would be to just go out on the road and put a single seal coat. Don't do no base repairs. Don't do any drainage, and that would cost you $26,500. You might get a year, you might get 2 years, but I'm not sure that that's anything that you want to put the money. I think it'd be a waste of money. But I wanted to let you see what the options are. I mean, and then
one other question I got for you about it right now too, is the work with the water line completed out there?
Ted Zimmerman of Cooper and Contractor has either 6 or 7 service lines that he still has to connect.
So he still has a little bit.
Yes, he's got some lateral crossings he has to do.
When will those be complete?
Early spring, he said, so I'm expecting him to be in there in April.
How much is the water company willing to contribute to this project?
They weren't in the right of way. Well, they were in our right of way, but they were in the short way. They weren't in the cart way.
So?
So
You can't charge utility companies.
they put it back in kind, what was there, actually it's an improvement over what we had there. They used, they took a lot of muck and stone out of the toe of the embankment, and they put stone back in.
They make open cuts or boring under the roads.
Open cut. It ran parallel with the road.
No, I mean for the laterals when you're up the top.
Probably open cut.
Were there any stormwater drain issues that need to be addressed along there too, or is it
Yeah,
pretty
we have
close?
a couple.
You haven't had any
We have a
progress
couple of
too much?
inlets. We have some berming that needs to be done in there, and Joe has proposed under drain the entire length of the cut side of the road.
So the cut sides.
Here's what I wanted to tell you what worked in the past. Well, it must have worked. When Mr. Gizio was here, the township used to do what Joe mentioned about a double shot of 2B stone and then a third layer of a fine to seal the crushed aggregate stone on top. All of Coleman Road was done like that. All of the Pauley Road was done like that. All of Grange Road was done like that. If you look at Coleman to this day, not that the road is good, but anything you're driving on, it's that double layer. That road has never been paved with hot mix other than patches through the years since Frank left. So on a country road, that normally holds up pretty well. Now, with Bednar moving, with tractor trailers and all that car traffic even, obviously it's a whole different environment on Coleman now. But King is like now what Coleman used to be when it was only those families that lived on it, the only ones that drove on it. So for years, I had praised that, Joe, that one option you did with the base repair plus the triple layer of stone. If you subtract out the base repair, that came to $106,000. And if that was an interest, I mean, you could investigate yourself that further for King Road, but just in that case, I took off the 543 for King Road and then added back in $106,000 for that triple treatment that we used to do for a country road, and now our project's down to 824. So that would leave us, still another 350,000 we could do more extra roads on.
I have something to say, Tom. I disagree with you when you speak about country roads. Our township is developing rapidly, and roads that you call country roads are no longer country roads. And King Road is one of them. Chipper Run, just how many houses are there now? 125? Are there more than that?
They built all their own roads.
Tommy, they use that as a shortcut to Rising.
We don't know super highways for shortcuts for people. I mean, there's a state road right at the beginning of Timber Run, 980.
I don't agree with that thinking. I think that, again, it's the same situation as with Coleman Road. We should do everything we can to start at the beginning and do the job and do it properly, whether it's King Road or Coleman Road. And if we're not going to do that, then we ought to get rid of Gateway, because this is what their recommendation is, and it looks like this is going to give us the longest term. And if we can't take their advice on anything, then we don't need them.
Well, the other thing, though, about it being a country road, which I always disagree with you on that, look what happened to Anger Road. The developer wanted to come in, he's paving that whole road, stormwater, paved completely, base stabilization. The whole thing is he wants a road like that for his development. King is the old country road now. You're saying, I mean, if the developer wants to come and build there, they would probably upgrade that road to standards that are suitable to his type of development.
Range would come in and do it, and do as good or better a job than they do on Swihart Road, for that road and Coleman.
Well, that's another story.
Well, it's the same story, but, you know, if we're gonna spend the money, I just think we ought to do it properly.
Then you have to say that for every road.
I think that's the truth.
Well, right, so that's what we're trying to start. We're trying to start on all these roads that, we've been spending $1 million, but we've been spending 1.2 million a year, and it's hard to catch up. If you saw that price on Coleman Road, it would take our whole 2 years of whole road budgets for.
But we have the funds. We have the funds. We could do all of Coleman Road, and we can do this too. And it's not a problem, and we're not doing it. But I say if we're going to do King Road, do it and do it right. If we're going to do Coleman Road, do it and do it right.
No, I disagree with you, we're not doing Coleman right, because I think we are. We're going through and doing the stabilization that we need on the hillside. And once that's completed, then next year we can look at doing the surface on it.
Let's get back to King.
But I think there was, the fact was, we were just trying to see if there was any other options that we could still do a decent job of reducing the
No, we
price.
can do nothing, save money.
No,
We have to
Save
do
a
something.
whole amount.
you have to do something, but you just got to look at all the different options you have.
There's no doubt that I think King Road gets more traffic than what we're acknowledging. And there are certainly more folks between King and Rising than there, other than, and those are folks, I'm not talking about visitors to the plant, I'm talking about the residents. With Coleman, we don't have as much traffic from the residents as we're getting on King now. And like everyone's acknowledged, King Road doesn't have any development on it yet, and eventually it will. So we have to look at the future, and I think we have to do let's fix the roads, let's get the base down.
You can't build a road and hope a developer comes. You don't know the developer. The developer has to pay for that cost of people's.
I don't disagree with it, but we can put the base in there and get it started, at least so it'll absorb the amount of traffic that we're getting from the folks over Timber Run.
Again, to me, you don't owe two roads if there's a, you don't owe a shortcut to me as far as I'm concerned.
It's a township road.
Okay, one other thing on, you know where Burnside, I mean Pap and Klinger Road into South Point.
Mm-hmm.
After the interchange opened, people from Philcorn came up and they wanted us to, it was a gravel road at the time, and they wanted to pave. Well, why? You've got a state road right down in Cecil. Well, it's a 0.2 of a mile shorter to go that way. So, you know, we're going to spend $500,000 on cleaner roads so they can save 0.2 of a mile and not go down Cecil Hendersonville and turn on Washington.
We're doing that again?
Say it
Aren't
again.
we doing Klinger Road again?
Well, yeah, because development, South Point happened then, and developments happened. So, you're, and that, what's that, the reserve happened. So, when the development happens, then we do go in there when we have to and work with the developers, just like we did on the overlook. We did that section that he didn't do, but to say, well, let's do King to make it like a highway, it's too early for that one. I mean, if all the rest of our roads were done, that's another story.
Well, where are we going to start?
We've got a whole list of roads